I was reborn as a snake in the deep mountains, to adapt to the harsh survival environment of the wild. I had to suppress my human instincts with those of a wild beast. Each day, I would either hunt sparrows or steal bird eggs. Or I'd catch rabbits to practice my wrestling moves. Finally, 50 years later, I became the lord of this forest. But I had also become a cold-blooded, heartless creature, gradually forgetting my memories of my previous life. Until one day, a herbalist in the forest fell into the water. The remnants of my humanity compelled me to rescue him and bring him to the foot of the mountain. At first, I thought that would be the end of it. But unexpectedly, 2.5 days later, the same man reappeared before me. He took out a few boiled eggs first. Then he bowed to me repeatedly. "Thank you for the kindness of saving my life, otherwise my wife and children would not have survived. I still have one more request. I hope that you, serpent god, will allow me to gather herbs in this forest." Upon hearing this, I was speechless. I felt he was truly greedy. So I turned around and slithered away. But the herbalist, seeing that I didn't bite him, took it as my permission. From that day on, he became a regular visitor to this forest. I watched him every day from a large tree. He planted saplings, gradually creating a small herb garden. Sometimes when we met, he would sit down comfortably and prattle on about how he was collecting more herbs lately, and how his family would have enough to eat. And then he'd say he must thank me, something like that. Eventually, I couldn't stand his nagging, so I had to avoid him every day. And then, half a year passed. The saplings the herbalist planted had all grown. He collected more and more herbs every day, until it finally made the villagers envious. That day, I was practicing my art as usual. As soon as I finished, I immediately sensed 3 warm human bodies in the herb garden. I instantly grew furious, thinking the herbalist had secretly brought others in. Did he think this was his backyard? I rushed down the mountain in anger. But when I reached outside the herb garden, I saw the herbalist bleeding from the corner of his mouth. He lay slumped on the ground, his 2 hands tightly gripping the leg of one of the villagers. "These are my medicines." It was a scrawny man. Hearing that, he stomped even harder. "Yours? Is this mountain your family's? This is our territory. You're truly bold and reckless. How dare you steal our medicine?" The other 2 stood by, watching, their hands reaching out to pull the herbs. Seeing this, the herbalist reluctantly released the scrawny man's leg and spread his arms to protect the 2 most valuable herbs. No matter how the 3 of them beat him, he wouldn't budge. Seeing this, I felt curious. Just a few ordinary herbs? Is it worth resorting to violence? As I pondered whether to intervene, I saw the scrawny man's face flush red with anger, veins bulging. He violently pulled out a wood-cutting knife and swung it down onto the herbalist's back. The wood-cutting knife was heavy, so it wasn't particularly fast. But it still struck the herbalist's body, leaving a wound. The other 2 were stunned frozen. They were just ordinary villagers, never intending to kill their own kind. "What are you afraid of? It's just us. Who will know if you all participated?" He wanted to drag the other 2 into it, but after a long moment, no one responded. When he turned back out of habit, he suddenly felt his neck being squeezed. As if something was tightly gripping his throat, then he felt an intense pain. Snake venom flowed into his body through his throat. Even a divine cure wouldn't save him now. After releasing the scrawny man, I looked up at the other 2. They were scared out of their wits, frantically crawling away for their lives. I didn't chase after them, and I didn't feel any guilt. 20 years of savage life had completely eroded my humanity. The herbalist looked at me in fear. Perhaps he had just realized that the white snake before him was a wild beast. After I tossed that man's body into a pile of blood, returning to the herb garden, I found the herbalist surprisingly quiet. From then on, his gaze toward me was filled with terror. Later, he didn't speak anymore. The weather also began to get colder. After the herbalist waited for the herbs to fully grow and then dug them up, he never returned. His small herb garden gradually became overgrown. I returned to my old life. Except I practiced cultivation even harder every day. Until the 2nd year, the herbalist came once, but only looked from afar and then left. But what I didn't know was that outside, rumors had spread far and wide. It was said that a large white snake in the mountain had turned into a demon. There were even rumors that I had horns on my head and loved to eat people, making no one dare to enter this part of the forest anymore. And then another 10 years passed. My body grew much stronger.